Frank?
Yes?
You're very silent.
Oh, I was thinking.
Penny for them.
Oh, it's worth more than that.
Half an hour ago, you said you wanted to tell me something.
Yes.
Well, do you still want to tell me, or have you changed your mind?
Oh, no. You see, Sylvia, we've known each other for quite a time now.
10 days, to be exact.
Yes. Well, what I wanted to ask you was, could you...
Frank, are you proposing to me?
Yes. I hope it hasn't come as too much of a shock to you.
Shock? Good heavens. I've been expecting it for at least a week.
And I've been wasting all this time trying to pluck up enough courage to ask you.
The first time I saw you, I knew you'd ask me.
You must have thought I was terribly slow.
10 days is a record for me, darling.
And this is the last record you're going to make. And half chilly. Not the sort of night for courting.
Oh, well, you're cooling off. There was a time when you wouldn't have minded if it was snowing. I ain't afraid of catching cold anyway.
Catching cold? You've always got one.
I believe your love for me's just ebbing away.
Just what?
Ebbing away. Going out on the tide. Leaving behind the dry sands of a burnt-out passion.
Have you been drinking again?
There's a thing to say.
You know I didn't mean it. You know I love you. You know I do.
Oh, well, you take it pretty calmly, I must say. Why don't you breast Eve like they do in the pictures?
Well, I ain't that sort. I don't like to rush at a thing. I like to feel my way. Here, my sexy frogger.
Oh, did you bring that for me?
No, I did not. You know, that's Mr. Hillcrest's prize one.
No, is it valuable?
Is it valuable? I should say it is. There's only 2 in the country like that, and the other's dead.
No, really?
Yes, I keep telling you, it's a prize, saxifraga.
Once upon a time, you used to call me your little prize sexy sex, or what that is.
Now I've finished that infernal letter, what do you want to yarn about,
Well, the fact is, sir, it's about Sylvia.
Yes?
We've known each other for some time now, and...
Nearly 2 years, isn't it?
Yes, yes, and I'd rather like her. That is, I want...
It appears you want me to help you out.
Yes.
I suppose you're going to tell me that you're in love with Sylvia.
Yes, we've always been good friends, as you know, but I feel I'd like to be something more to her.
Have you any idea how she feels about it?
Oh, I think she likes me. Of course, I'm not a wealthy man, otherwise I should never have sold you this house. But still...
I don't think Sylvia's the sort of girl to take that into account.
No, that's how I feel. I just wanted to know how you felt about it.
Oh, my dear fellow, as far as I am concerned, Sylvia couldn't have a better husband. But the time has gone by when parents had anything to say on that sort of thing. She must decide for herself.
I take it then that you've no objection.
None whatever, my dear boy. I was suggesting, well, in a nutshell, it's entirely up to her.
Yes, yes, of course, I quite understand.
Then you start with a clear field. Good luck.
Oh, thanks.
I'm going out for a smoke. Coming?
Yes, yes, I'll just get my pipe and then I'll join you.
Well, all I have to do now is to ask your father.
Hello.
Oh, Daddy, we,
Don't bother to explain. I suppose you want me to congratulate you.
That's it. Isn't he, darling?
Well, sir, I didn't want to go behind your back. I wanted to tell you myself.
Well, you've been doing that for the past week.
Yes, wasn't he sweet?
Oh, you were worse, if anything.
Well, I hope you've no objection to my marrying your daughter, sir.
Of course not, Frank. I hope you'll be very, very happy.
Thank you.
Invite me to the wedding.
What do you think, Humbug?
Frank, if you can spare the time, I'd like you to come to the old Monk's Hall. I'd like to see the plans you've been making on the alterations.
Oh, yes, certainly, sir. Coming, Sylvia?
No, thank you, darling. I think I'll stay here for a little while.
All right. I'll see you later.
I can see it's going to be useful having an architect in the family, and I can use the extra room if it doesn't cost too much.
See, Sylvia?
She's on the balcony.
Knit two, purl two, pass the one over. Where are you going, John?
Frank and I are going to have another look over the old hall. Coming along?
That old place?
New lamps for old Mary. Frank says he can do the trick. We'd like your opinion.
Well, I like the idea.
Hello, Sylvia. Came to have a little yarn with you.
Brian, Frank just asked me a question, and I want you to be the first to know the answer.
Frank? Oh, what was it?
He asked me to marry him.
And you said yes? Oh, of course you did. He suits you down to the ground. I'm glad for your sake.
Is that all?
Well, what else can I say? I used to think that perhaps I might. Oh, but I ought to have known that I didn't stand a chance when Frank came.
Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. But even if he hadn't...
I know. If I'd proposed to you till doomsday, I shouldn't have stood an earthly. You needn't rub it in.
This won't make any difference to our being friends.
Why, of course not. I don't know much about Frank, but he seems a nice chap. Anyway, if you're going to be happy, I'm jolly glad.
That's sweet of you, Brian.
Yes, the walls can easily be refaced, the staircase treated, and the floors leveled.
But won't it be cold in the winter?
Oh, no. You see, this room was probably used by the monks in the old days as the monastery. And there's a fireplace concealed somewhere, probably been bricked up. But that can easily be remedied.
The light's not good.
Oh, but it will be. You see, probably the windows have been blocked up too. But I can easily let in a little light on the subject.
And the job won't cost more than the figure you named.
Not a penny.
Well, I think it's a splendid idea to have the old room done up. As it is, it gives everyone the creeps.
You don't think the ghost will object?
Ghosts indeed. Servants talk. Let's go in, shall we?
All right, Frank. Get on with it.
Thank you, sir.
I suppose you'd rather not start until after the honeymoon.
Well,
Eh? What's that?
Frank's going to be one of the family, my dear.
I'm not thinking of adopting him.
Sylvia and he announced their engagement this evening.
Well, this is a surprise.
I hope a pleasant one.
Of course. Aunt Mary's used to having things broken gradually to her. Well, shall we go back?
Yes. I can easily look in here tomorrow and fix up all the final details.
Good evening, Phillips.
Good evening, my lord. I hope you had a good run down.
Yes, delightful, thank you. Very nice to see your face again.
Thank you, my lord.
Ah, good evening, Miss Hillcrist. How are you?
Not so well, Jerry.
How's that?
Aunt Mary's had a shock, Jerry. You know Frank, Mr. Brooks, my architect, Lord Piltdown.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Architect. I say, how wonderfully interesting. Of course, you mend pipes and all that sort of thing, don't you?
You're thinking of a plumber, aren't you?
Of course, how stupid of me. But still, you do belong to the same lodge or union or whatever it is, don't you?
I may add that in addition to his being an architect, he's also going to be my son-in-law.
I say, how wonderfully thrilling.
Yes, seeing that I'm having some alterations made in the Grange, that's what he's coming in useful, isn't he?
Rather, yes. No more drain trouble and all that sort of thing, yes. Well, I must say it's delightful, if a trifle sudden.
Surprised they didn't get married first and tell us about it afterwards. That's what they generally do now.
Thanks awfully.
Oh, well, if I don't all feel funny.
How do you mean, funny?
Well, I got a most peculiar sensation.
Yeah, I know what's the matter with you.
What?
The open-air Crabshaw style.
Go on.
Here, steady on. Here. Now, come with me into the monks' hall. It's haunted.
I always was very psychic, ever since a child.
Come along and I'll show you the monks' hall, what is known as a refectory, where hundreds and hundreds of monks used to sit down and have their meals.
How many?
Oh, a great number.
Diamond? 2 clubs.
No,
2 spades.
No.
no.
Right, I lead.
Thirsty, Jerry?
You know, the usual continuous performance. I say, Silver, when I heard of your engagement, I was a stricken man. It's terrible, you know. I might just as well put my head in a gas oven straight away. I'm finished.
Why, Jerry, what do you mean?
Well, for years I've cherished a secret passion for you, and now you go and throw yourself away on an architect, a bricks and mortar man. Well, I shall end it. Do myself in.
Well, don't do it in my house. One ghost is enough. We don't want you haunting the place.
I do wish you wouldn't speak so flippantly of ghosts.
Yes, I quite agree. You know, they're a terribly touchy lot. I say, what are you hanging on to those spades for? You've only got 3 in any case. The 10, the 7, and the jack.
Upon my word!
Well, we better have a fresh deal.
I think so, yes.
What have I said something wrong?
Oh, no.
Oh, I see, did I ever tell you the story about the man who had 13 cards, all the same suit?
Now, the sedum saxifraga, tredimesca, jumenta parato are not to be compared with this African pansy and reared by my own hands.
Here, do you believe in ghosts?
ghost. Don't be fetid. There ain't no such things. What's the matter with you tonight?
I don't like this place.
Well, what's wrong with it?
I don't think it's a proper place to bring a young girl to.
Oh, don't be daft. Look here. This Decorinter and Parato are all one and the same.
What you call the lot of names for, then?
Lord, ain't you got no horticultural instincts? You'll end up as a market gardener's wife, cabbages and potatoes. None of this high horticulture. The Decamarenta Pulentio Tremagasca is the finest specimen of its kind in the What's the matter? Leave yourself alone.
But, John, you know next to nothing about this fellow.
Well, if it comes to that, he doesn't know much about me.
He knows you're a wealthy man.
Nonsense. He's got a promising career ahead of him. You see, he'll get to the top of the ladder.
Yes. He wants you to hold it for him.
Well, if he's not well off at present, Sylvia's a sensible girl. She won't expect too much.
Don't be too sure. When the modern gal marries, she expects to be presented with both a motor and a marriage license.
Well, there it is. It's no use arguing about it.
And anyway, seeing that Sylvia has no mother, I consider he should have seen me first. He knows I'm her aunt.
Quite. And still he wants to marry her.
John, are you trying to be rude?
I'm only trying to show you that it's no use in you and I interfering. Young people. They've no use for our generation.
You know, you talk as though we belong to the Stone Age or something.
So we do from their point of view. They probably look upon us as museum pieces.
I don't know what this generation's coming to.
This generation is the same as any other. It's out for a good time while the going's good, and I don't blame them. Anyway, Sylvia will make Frank a good wife.
No doubt. But the point is, can she make him a good husband?
Mary, you're so prejudiced. The boy's all right. I'm a pretty good judge of character.
My dear John, you're not a good judge of anything except cigars. And mark my words, you'll be sorry you ever let Frank Brooks into this house.
Frank, what's that?
I don't know. Anyway, it was a very fruity one.
Now, cut out all this all-in-wrestling. What's the matter with you?
Oh, did you see it?
I didn't see anything.
Oh, it was horrible. It touched me. It's all clammy, it was. Like a bit of coke on.
What was?
Well, it was.
I never saw anything.
Well, it was behind you.
Was it? Oh, silly, it can't have been.
Yes, it was.
There's anything about here you talking?
Oh, so this is where you are. As for you, Alf, I'm surprised at you. Though they do say still waters run deep.
What, me? Are you suggesting that I...
No. And as for you, Jane, it's none of my business what you get up to with Alf. Only don't go screaming about it.
I wasn't out. This time, Mr. Phillips, it was the ghost.
Ghost? My good girl, what are you talking about?
Oh, she's potty. Don't take any notice of her.
Now, look here, you better get back to the house. I only hope for your sake that nobody has heard you.
Phillips, what's all this about?
Nothing, sir. The girl here imagines she saw a ghost.
What have you got to do with it, Alf?
Me, sir? Nothing. I just happened to be here.
Mr. Hillcrist, I saw a ghost as plain as you stand here.
Nonsense, Jay. The girl's a bit hysterical, sir.
I tell you, I saw it.
Yes, we'd all better go back to the house and clear this up.
Very good, sir.
Yes, of course. But tell me, Jane, what did the ghost look like?
Well, sir, it was horrible.
Possibly. But what size was it, for instance?
Well, it was the usual sort of size the ghosts are around, you know.
Tall?
Well, no.
And I suppose it wasn't short, either.
Was it transparent?
Was it what, sir?
Well, I mean, could you see through it?
Oh, yes, sir, yes. It's right through his stomach. Oh, it was horrible.
Yes, I should imagine it would be.
How is it Alf didn't see it?
Well, he had his back to it, sir.
I never heard anything so ridiculous.
Well, everyone knows there's a ghost in the Grangeman.
What do you mean, everyone?
Well, I...
It's common talk in the neighborhood, sir. The Black Abbott is supposed to haunt the old refectory.
What's he want to do that for?
The legend is, my lord, he's been condemned to do it for his sins.
Oh, what did he get up to?
He's supposed to have gone in for black magic and all that sort of thing, my lord.
Oh, what's he supposed to do?
Every night, they say, he walks round the old wing of the grave.
Oh, I said, the hiking ghost, what?
Have you ever seen him, Phillips?
No, sir. It's an old wives' tale, if you ask me, sir.
Probably. If I were you, Jane, I'd forget all about Black Abbott's. And don't stay out so late at night.
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir.
I think, John, you can safely leave her to me. I'll see her in the morning, early.
And don't let me have to reprimand you.
Oh, sir, not that.
Well, if I'd known there was a ghost for the house, I'd have made an extra charge when I sold it.
I suppose you wouldn't have sold it if you'd known it had a family ghost.
You don't mean that seriously?
Well, I mean, a bit of real atmosphere like that is a thing you can't buy.
Atmosphere and mortgages don't go together, Jerry. No, when my uncle left me this place, I thought my struggling days were over. Till I found everything mortgaged up to the hilt. I had to sell it, ghost and all.
Well, I can't understand all this fuss about a few mortgages. They never worry me. I was born and bred on them.
I'm happy in my little cottage with a bit of garden. When you've knocked about the world as I have, security's everything.
Yes, that's what my bank manager said when I tried to touch him.
I wish I had your carefree outlook, Jerry.
Well, I'll swap it for your ghost.
For heaven's sake, how can you talk so lightly about it? When I think of that horrible black monster...
I thought you said it was all nonsense.
So it is. But it's horrible all the same.
Our bridge seems to have gone west.
Well, our family ghost was a nice old chap. He used to walk about with his head under his arms and make weird noises. He left us a few years ago.
Left you?
Well, I mean he could put up with a good deal, but he couldn't stand the radio. Not a ghost of a chance.
Jerry, you are a fool.
No, seriously.
But, Jerry, you don't really believe we've got a ghost?
Well, why not?
Well, I tell you what. Let's all sit up in the refectory tonight and see if the Black Abbott makes an appearance. What do you say, Mr. Hillcrest?
I don't mind. Waste of time, in my opinion.
What do you say, Mr. Hisselwood?
Sure.
And you, Lord Piltdown?
Certainly. It's a jolly good idea.
Personally, I think all you'll catch is a cold. If you men want to, well, it's your own funeral.
Well, here's to the Black Abbott. May his shadow never grow less.
Well, if the Black Abbott does appear, we'll soon see whether it's genuine or not.
I wouldn't use a gun, Brian. You'll wake the whole household.
Oh, perhaps you're right.
Oh! Why, I say, are all these precautions necessary?
Best be on the safe side, Jerry.
Well, look what I've got. A nice hefty poker. I tell you what, two of us will stand at each end of the room, and then we can't possibly miss the Black Abbott.
Oh, I say, I don't think we ought to split up.
What, are you getting windy, Jerry?
No, not at all.
I'll look after you. You two go down the other end.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
This ghost hunt is a capital bit of leg pulling on Jerry. He's as windy as a...
There's an old gentleman after a couple of pickled onions.
What's the matter?
Oh, there's something round my legs. It's a snake, I think. Now, keep control of yourself. I mustn't move, you know. They bite you if you move. You look down first.
Well, it's a very domesticated-looking snake.
Oh, it's a cat. Never could stand cats anyway.
Jerry's nerve seems to be crumbling faster than I thought.
I hope he won't throw a faint.
No fear. And if this frightens some of the bounce out of him, so much the better.
Hello. Look.
That's no ghost. It's someone outside.
Let's go after him.
What about the others?
Never mind about them. He'll get away. Come on. Frank.
Jerry.
Yes?
Come on.
No, I can't.
Why?
Oh, my legs died on me.
Oh. Damn it, not a trace of him. If we're going to lay this beggar by the heels, we'd better split up.
You seen it?
Rather. You go round by the stables. You take the left. I'll go down the drive.
Look. There he is. He's alone now. Watch.
shoot.
I beg your pardon, my lord. I heard a noise in the servants' quarters. I thought something might be wrong.
Well, I didn't make any noises.
In that case, I think we'd better go into the garden, my lord.
You've literally taken the words out of my mouth. No, you go first, Phillips.
Very good, my lord.
Auntie, Aunt Mary.
Silver, what was that scream?
It came from Aunt Mary's room. Jerry, the door's locked. I can't get in.
Oh, Phillips, you know what to do.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Come along. No need to be nervous.
Oh, stop fiddling. Do something.
In that case, miss, I'm afraid I should have to burst the door down.
All right. Anything you like.
Oh, very good, miss. Would you stand aside, please?
Oh, Jerry, what's happened to her?
Where am I?
Oh, it's all right. She'd only fainted.
That cry we heard, my lord.
Oh, that must have come from the grounds outside. I said, look here, you stay with us, Silver. She'll be all right now.
But, Jerry,
I say, you must go. I mean, we must, the two, both. What? Oh, come along, Phillips. You go first.
What's happened?
I don't know, sir. I found him here lying like this. A car was making way down the Tetley Road. I don't like the way he's breathing, sir.
Great Scott, it's Brian.
It looked to me, sir, as though he's copped a Forkney one.
Oh, come on, Pilkdown. Give me a hand. We must get him inside. Alf, make yourself useful. Phone for a doctor.
Very good, sir.
Hello.
County police?
Oh, I'm speaking from the Grange.
Yes?
I want you to send a police officer along here at once.
Anything serious, sir?
Yes, very.
We'll come along right away, sir.
All right, thanks. How is he?
I think he's just coming round. Now, don't worry, old man. You'll be quite all right.
Where's Hillcrist?
I'm sorry, miss. We've been over the ground with a tooth comb and can't find any trace of Mr. Hillcrist anywhere.
Oh, what can have happened to him?
That's what we've got to find out. Now, Mr. Heselwood, I shan't want you for a few minutes. I'll see you later. I want you to tell me all you know.
Well, it was too dark for me to see anything, and the whole thing was over so quickly. All I remember is I was attacked by two men from behind. I was stunned. When I recovered, I went to where Mr. Hillcrist had been, but he'd gone. And there were signs of a struggle.
Who found Mr. Heselwood?
I did, sir.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
Well, I shall want a few words with you.
Yes, sir.
Come here. What's your name?
Name, sir?
Yes, I want you to be exact, please.
Name, sir, is Alf Higgins. I was born in Whitechapel. At the age of 3, I wanted to be a gardener.
Never mind about that.
Yes, sir.
Do you work here?
Yes, sir, I'm the head gardener.
Have you an assistant?
No, sir, I'm the only one.
All right. Go on.
Well, sir, I heard the noise the same as all the rest. I was locking up at the time when I rushed out into the drive, and there he was.
Yes?
Well, that's all.
I understand one of the ladies here fainted. Who was that?
I am the lady.
Indeed, madam. And may I ask your name?
I'm Mr. Hillcrist's sister.
Miss...
I was rather tired and went to bed. Unfortunately, I had a most disturbing dream.
Oh, what was that?
I dreamt of the Black Abbott.
Who's that?
The Black Abbott, Sergeant, well, supposed to be the family ghost.
Oh, I see. Go on, Miss Hillcrist.
I woke to find myself in a bath
Eh?
of perspiration. Then I thought I heard someone trying to get into my room. I screamed and fainted.
Why was it that your door was found locked?
Naturally, my door was locked. I had retired for the night.
Oh, I see. Yes, quite so. Is there anyone here who has seen this Black Abbott?
I have.
You have? When was this?
Tonight, in the monk's hall.
Were you alone?
Yes, sir. By myself. Without.
Hmm. What were you two doing alone in there?
Oh, nothing, sir. We hadn't time. I was only in there a minute, and then I see it.
Hmm. Anyone else here see it?
May I venture a suggestion? I think perhaps this ghost might be some real person who has no right on the premises.
That's just what I was going to say.
I'm back, Sergeant.
Well?
Been round the whole building, Sergeant. Not a sign of anyone, but the garage has been broken open, and there's a car missing.
Whose?
Lord Piltdown's.
Oh, I say, that's too bad. I shall never get another one like it.
Where's Lord Piltdown's chauffeur?
We found him tied up.
Is he hurt?
Well, he'd been kicked.
Where?
In the garage. He was attacked from behind just as he was leaving. He's all right now.
When was this?
About midnight.
Where is he now?
At present, he's having a look at the other two cars. All the tyres on Mr. Hillcrist's car have been slashed, and Mr. Brooks has been put right out of action.
These ghosts certainly seem to know how to get organised.
Well, I see no further point in keeping everyone up any longer. Constable Stevens, you'll have to stay here till breakfast. I'll be around here first thing in the morning.
Very good, Sergeant.
In the meanwhile, I must ask that no one leave the house until further instructions. You all understand? Come along, Walker. I want to make a full report about this.
Look here, Constable. I want to talk to you. You know, the whole crowd of you would be far better employed looking for my car. It's a very serious matter. Really, it's ridiculous.
Walker, I don't like it. It's a fishy business. A very, very fishy business.
Don't you worry, Sergeant. You'll land by the heels all right.
You think I will?
Who else?
I say, Sergeant,
I beg your pardon, sir?
you've forgotten to take the number of my car.
What is it, sir?
0099G.
Yeah, none of that before breakfast.
Well, I haven't slept all night.
What's the matter now?
Oh, this carry on.
Well, what about it?
Well, I want to know what happened last night.
Yeah?
I mean, I know what to tell the sergeant. No, but really.
Well, you could have knocked me down with a feather. There he was, with a face the colour of putty, and a lump on his head the size of a dumpling.
You said he was unconscious.
I should say he was unconscious, and so would you have been if you'd had it over the crumpet like he'd had.
What did you do?
Well, first of all, I tried artificial perspiration, but that wasn't no good. No. Well, all of a sudden, he looked me straight in the face.
Did he say anything?
No, he just looked at me, gave a sort of shudder, and then fainted again.
Oh, you know, you ought to be more careful.
Why, how do you mean?
Well, I mean, I don't suppose he was feeling too good. And to see you peering at him, why, the shot might have killed him.
I suppose you think that's clever.
No, but it's true.
Anyhow, he owes his life to me. Why, if he'd have been there much longer, he might have got trodden on.
Why, don't get affected permanent, is it?
No, he's only just had concession of the brain, that's all. Don't do that.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forget things, don't you?
That's right. The only thing I'm worried about is I hope he don't forget me.
Why, haven't you given you anything yet?
No. I reckon it's worth $1, don't you? Why, a brother of mine had that for fishing a fella out of the sea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He must have been full of gratitude.
No, as a matter of fact, he was full of water. Do you know it took them 2 hours to bail him out? Don't do that.
Oh, well, I better be getting back to the house.
That's the idea. Oh, I say, if you see Mr. Bryan, you might give him a gentle reminder, you know, say I asked after him very nicely. Do it tactful like. Here, do you think I ought to send him up a few blooms?
Blooms?
Yeah.
I know you and your sexy frog. Now, you leave it to me. Now, I take his breakfast up. I'll be diplomatic.
That's the idea. There's a good girl.
Through the ages, the faithful hound has delivered the news. Never, rarely distracted, ever loyal to his master.
Pop it in the basket, son. I'll read it later.
Through hell and high water. Yes, it's been a dog's life. But today, the latest news, sport, and travel can be delivered at the touch of a button with Oracle.
The ultimate newspaper.
In every home, there are chemicals that can poison, blind, or burn. Each year, about 11,000 young children end up in hospital because of these chemicals. So keep them out of children's reach. Think safety first.
Hello.
Hello, who's that?
Lockwood speaking. Detective Inspector Lockwood.
Yes?
I'm down at the Grange now. It proved too much for local talent, so they called me in from the yard. Now, what about Pearson?
Well, he left last night for Paris by his own aeroplane. Arrived late. Apparently, he had engine trouble.
Oh, he did, eh?
Yes.
Oh, that's splendid. Well, Doctor, what's the damage?
Nothing much, Inspector. The head's a bit groggy.
How's it done?
Might have been done with an ordinary poker. Inspector, any news of Hillcrest?
I'm afraid not. Does anyone know Mr. James Pearson?
What, oh, Jimmy Pearson? Yes, he was a partner of Hillcrest. Walked out on him about 2 years ago.
Walked out?
Yes, before he was kicked out.
Nonsense. It was all quite friendly.
What sort of a man is he?
Well, I didn't care for him much myself. He was a very standoffish fellow. You know, not a good mixer. He's one of those sort of chaps that wouldn't read a book unless there was an introduction.
Surely you don't suspect. Pearson left last night for Paris in his private aeroplane. Arrived several hours late. Supposed to have been engine trouble.
What do you mean?
Well, this morning, as soon as we were notified by the police here, we made inquiries about this Mr. Pearson, sent an officer down to question him. Just routine, you know. But he'd gone. Left the night before. The night of Mr. Hillcrest's disappearance. You don't mean that Pearson... Just a moment. We happen to know that Mr. Pearson had had very severe financial losses and was making desperate efforts to avoid a complete crash.
Good heavens. You don't think that Pearson was responsible for...
Too early to say anything definite yet, but what I want to know is, who is going to tell Sylvia?
Doesn't she know anything about the car being ditched?
No, she's still in bed. She's been in a terrible state ever since last night. No one's there to speak to her. If I were you, I wouldn't say anything more to her yet a while. Time enough when we've gone into this matter a little more closely.
But you won't keep anything secret, will you?
One thing more. I may want to see all you gentlemen again.
My share in the mystery consists of a bang on the head.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, tell Miss Sylvia I'd like to see her.
Very good, sir.
Ah, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah, it sure is, isn't it? Well, they certainly got a swell little place here.
Yes.
Oh, Hillcrest must be a very wealthy man.
Oh, very wealthy.
And you mean to say that since he disappeared, the police have done nothing? That is, have found out nothing?
Well, we've had no news yet.
Hello, Brian.
Ah, how are you, my dear?
I'm better, thank you.
I wanted to meet an old friend of mine, Charlie Marsh, Miss Hillcrest.
How do you do?
Delighted to meet you, Miss Hillcrest.
Now, you mustn't overtire yourself. Come on, sit down.
I'm sorry to hear about your father, Miss Hillcrest. I feel rather like an intruder because I can understand just how you feel.
That's all right.
Oh, Lord Piltdown, Charlie Marsh.
Howdy.
Glad to have you know me. Excuse me.
Certainly.
No news, Sylvia.
No, the inspector's been every day. He should be here any minute.
But doesn't he hold out any hope of finding your father?
Oh, he talks a lot, but
But he must have done something.
nothing but routine work as far as I can make out.
Well, I refuse to let the days go by like this.
But what can we do?
Mr. Marsh is known as one of the cleverest private detectives in the United States, and he's a friend of mine. He was over here on holiday, but when he heard of your trouble, he volunteered to help.
That's real good of you, Mr. Marsh. I suppose now that America's gone wet, you detectives find things rather dry.
Thank you, Brian. But what can Mr. Marsh do that the police haven't already done?
A lot, Miss Hillcrest. To start with, the police evidence has proved that your father was not in the car when it was burnt.
In other words, they don't know where he is.
Yes?
Your father is a wealthy man?
Yes.
Exactly. In my opinion, he has been kidnapped and is alive and well. The kidnappers are just waiting for the excitement to die down before coming into the open with their demands.
I wish I could believe that.
I hope everybody's here. Oh, I expect they are. Phillips, where's Miss Sylvia?
Yeah, she's in the drawing room, sir.
Right. Shall we go in?
It's like this, Miss Hillcrist. New ideas in crime are like influenza, kind of contagious.
Sylvia.
Frank,
Hello, darling.
any news, Inspector?
Not yet. Mr. Brooks kindly ran me down from town. How's the head, Miss Hazelwood?
Oh, fine, thanks. I'm glad to be rid of that infernal bandage. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine, Charlie Marsh, Inspector Lockwood.
Pleased to meet you, Inspector.
Do you know Mr. Brooks?
How do you do?
How are you?
Inspector, isn't there anything new at all?
I'm afraid not. I don't want to raise any false hopes.
I've been wondering, you don't think he might have been kidnapped?
Kidnapped? We don't do that kind of thing in England. What put that into your head?
Oh, nothing. Only I thought perhaps a man as wealthy as my father...
No, you only read of that kind of thing in books anyhow.
I suppose you think kidnapping is confined exclusively to my country, eh?
Well, your people certainly started it. But I've got very definite ideas about this case.
I didn't think you had fixed ideas when working on a case, Inspector.
I have common sense. I'll have a look around the house if you don't mind.
Certainly, if you think it'll do any good.
Be careful you don't tread on his toes, Sylvia. Remember, many a flat foot carries an aching corn.
But he doesn't do anything, just looks impressive.
Oh, don't be hard on him, Miss Hillcrist.
Well, he certainly seems to have slipped up pretty badly this time.
Yes, that's the trouble with our flat-footed friends. Okay for routine work, but they've too set in their opinions.
Frank, Mr. Marsh thinks he can help us.
So?
My dear Sylvia, if the sum of £10,000 is not raised within 3 days, or if you inform the police, I shall be put to death. Further instructions will follow, your loving father. It's Daddy's handwriting, all right.
Are you sure?
Positive, Mr. Marsh. Oh, this is terrible.
Now, you mustn't worry, Miss Hillcrist.
How can I help it with Daddy in such danger?
I don't think they'll hurt your father.
What makes you think that?
Because he's too valuable. They've got nothing to gain by harming him and everything to lose.
Oh, I wish I could be sure of that.
Well, I'm as near sure as makes no difference. I've had some experience of these gentry.
Yes, but what ought I to do?
I'll tell you, Miss Hillcrist. I want you to raise that cash as quickly as you possibly can.
But how do you know they'll stick to their side of the bargain?
I said raise the cash, not pay it. Listen, I've got a pretty good knowledge of kidnappers' mentality. And if we go about this in the right way, we ought to be able to get Mr. Hillcrist back without paying 2 cents.
Oh, it isn't the money that matters. It's my father.
Listen, Miss Hillcrist. You take my advice and go about this exactly as though you were going to do everything the kidnappers want you to do.
You mean use this letter as authority to convert securities to the value of £10,000 hard cash?
Sure. You can bet your life they've got some means of checking up on Miss Hillcrist's movements.
I see. You mean you want me to pretend I'm going to pay the money?
Yes.
And not pay it at all?
Sure. They'd have no hesitation in double-crossing you.
I should pay the ransom, Sylvia, and be finished with it. After all, your father can afford it.
No, Frank. I don't think Daddy would like me to pay out his money without making a fight for it. I'll take your advice, Mr. Marsh.
I think you're very wise.
Frank, can you drive me up to town straight away?
Why, certainly. I'll go and get the car.
I'll go and see Daddy's lawyer, Mr. Betterton, and get him to sell shares to that amount. What are you going to do, Mr. Marsh?
Keep my eyes open, Miss Hillcrist. I expect developments. No. Get your car, Brian. We're going to follow Mr. Brooks to London.
Why?
I'm very interested in what he's going to do next. Give me a cigarette, will you?
Sure.
Ever arrested for stealing in America, Charlie?
No, why?
You'll drive again as you've driven today, and you'll soon be in trouble over here. Miss Sylvia, Mr. Brooks back here?
No, sir.
Good. I knew we should beat him if we came by the Barton bypass.
I'll garage the car.
Right.
Don't fidget, Jerry.
Oh, well, it's so jolly trying, and you keep getting the thing tangled up.
All you have to do is to sit still.
Well, I've been sitting still for the last hour. Do you think I am a hen?
No, they're useful. They lay eggs.
Yes, and cackle.
Well, Miss Hillcrest?
Mr. Marsh, it's all right. My father's lawyer is bringing the money down tomorrow.
Oh, good. You weren't followed by anyone?
No.
Did you notice anyone, Mr. Brooks?
Why, no.
Mr. Marsh, have you found out?
I found out plenty. But I'm not saying anything yet. I didn't intend to speak, but Lord Piltdown here insists upon my telling you just what I found out.
I don't understand.
Miss Hillcrest, I told you a few hours ago that I was on the right track. I am. I suspect a member of this household of having something to do with your father's disappearance.
Oh, it's not possible.
Oh, isn't it?
Well, I thought it wasn't, until I heard what Mr. Marsh here had to say.
Why have I been kept out of this?
That's exactly what I said.
Because the man we suspect is Frank Brooks.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Miss Hillcrest, when you went to town today, Brian and I followed you. And, well, I may as well tell you the whole story. And the man Frank Brooks passed the letter to when you weren't looking was James Pearson, your father's late business partner, and the man the police suspect of having something to do with your father's disappearance.
But there must be some explanation. Frank will tell me.
On no account must you let him know that we suspect Miss Hillcrest.
I say, aren't you being a bit hasty, old man?
You want more proof, eh? All right, listen. The letter Miss Hillcrest received bore a London postmark on it.
Well?
Well, Frank Brooks was in London all the day before. I'm sorry, Miss Hillcrest, but I must suspect everyone. That's my job.
Hello? Trunks?
Yes?
This is Abbey 1-2. I want Morley 9-6.
I've had the telephone line in the study tapped.
What for?
Listen.
Hello. Is that you, Pearson?
Is that you, Brooks?
Yes. Listen, I can't speak freely here. Take this message down.
One moment. All right, go ahead. Gold is falling rapidly. Yes. But industrials are rising. Yes.
Otherwise, the market is quiet. Got that?
Yes. Many thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What does he mean?
It's in code. Now, Miss Hillcrest, are you satisfied we're on the right track?
Jerry, dear boy, you're the only person in the house I can rely on. I can trust you, can't I?
You can trust me with anything, Aunt Mary. Even with your reputation.
Please be serious. There's something I must tell you. This fool of a detective means well, but he hasn't a woman's intuition.
No, probably not. I've never looked.
No, but I have. And I've come to a very definite conclusion. Frank Brooks is at the bottom of all this.
Oh, you think that too?
I'm positively certain. A woman can always trust her intuition.
Well, Alf, what do you make of it all?
Well, I'm inclined to think the governor's been leading a double life.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, there's generally a woman in it, you know. And with all his respectable ways, I'm inclined to think he was a bit of a Mormon. Yes, and come to think of it, I don't like the way he's looked at you once or twice.
Oh, well, I can't help one's appeal, you know. Why, if a man didn't show he was aware of an attractive woman sometimes, he'd be less than human.
Less than what?
Less than human.
Oh,
You're not jealous, are you?
no.
Well, you've come all over funny like.
Well, I wasn't going to tell you, but it's my saxifraga.
Oh, whatever do you want to talk about that for now?
Well, it's dead.
No.
Yes, its poor little petals, they paled and withered, and it gradually sunk, and it's gone.
Oh, well, we've all got to go sometime, you know.
Yes, you know, I never should have taken it in the Monk's Hall. The exposure was too much for it.
Well, I said we didn't ought to go in there. I caught a cold myself.
Caught a cold? You mean your permanent ailment? You know, you can always get a cold any day, but not another saxifraga. There's only 2 in the country, and now it's gone.
Well, Sylvia, I wouldn't mind betting that within a couple of days we'll have your father back with us, safe and sound.
Do you think so?
Of course.
You seem very sure.
Oh, I'm not, but... Sylvia, what is wrong with you?
Wrong? Nothing.
Oh, yes, there is. What is it? Tell me.
Nothing, I tell you.
I think I know what it is.
And he said, I've got a bicycle. It's the funniest I've heard for years. Here.
That'll teach you to be so fresh.
Well, I was only being human.
What was that?
I don't know. What were you saying?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's getting cold. I think I'll go in now.
Well, I don't think he's right.
Well, whatever the master may be, he's always treated me with respect. Not like the one I used to work for.
Oh? What did he get up to?
Well, when he'd had a couple, he used to come into me kitchen and offer to butter me parsnips for me.
You don't say.
You heard.
Frank!
Oh, hello, Sylvia.
What are you doing?
Well, I was... Well,
Oh, Frank, why can't you be honest with me?
you don't understand.
I want to.
I want you to trust me, Sylvia.
If you'd only say something, to explain.
I can't. All I ask of you is, if you ever want to see your father alive again, don't say anything to anyone of what you've just seen. Do you promise?
Why should I when...
Oh, Sylvia, please.
Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to believe.
Well, here it is. It's a bad business, but we can't take any risks where your father's life's concerned. Money's of little moment, and,
I suppose now the 3 days are up, we'll get further instructions.
Yep. And then, unless I'm very much mistaken, we'll catch them napping wherever they are.
Yes, and I hope they get it where the bottle gets the cork.
If you don't mind, Mr. Hillcrest, I'll feel happier when this stuff is in your local bank.
I'll go with you, Mr. Betterton. £10,000 is a lot of money.
Thank you, Mr. Betterton.
Good day, Miss Hillcrest.
Good day.
I say, I think I ought to have taken that money to the bank.
Well, what do you make of this, Inspector?
Now, listen, Mr. Betterton, keep this under your hat. I've got all my plans laid. I was only waiting for this money to come. Now, keep steady, all of you. We may have to wait here 2 minutes or 2 hours. But here we wait until we get 'em. I hope you're feeling quite cool and collected, Lord Pilkdown.
Cool? I should jolly well think I am. I've never had such cold feet in my life.
Sign that letter.
No.
You'd better sign if you know what's good for you.
I won't. I tell you I won't. I won't.
Are you going to sign?
No.
Now will you sign?
No.
You'd better go up in case I suspect anything. Sign it. And I hope for your sake they stump up quick.
The faithful butler, eh? Come on, you. Look after him. Now then, come on for the others. All right. Hands up, all of you.
My gun's empty.
Mine's not, if you're fooling.
I'm telling the truth.
Lord Piltdown, will you go down and light that lamp?
What, me?
I'll see you're not hurt.
Phillips, what does this mean?
You'll know all about that later, miss.
But those shots, where did they come from?
They came from down there, miss. There's a room that nobody knew anything about. That's where your father is.
Father?
Yes, miss.
It's all right. I throw in. It was a pretty little scheme. It hasn't come off. I'm sorry, Marsh.
All right. How did you know this place?
Oh, I've known it for years. I used to live here. What puzzles me is how the devil did you find it?
We have Mr. Brooks to thank for that. Being an architect, he spotted the entrance upstairs. I suppose it was Mr. Marsh who laid a false scent and set fire to that car.
You said it.
My car? Daddy!
Yes, we found him safe and sound, thanks to Mr. Brooks.
But what does this all mean? Brian!
Sorry, Miss Hillcrist. I'm afraid you've been mistaken in Mr. Heatherwood.
But I still don't understand. You seem to suspect Mr. Pearson.
That's an old trick, Miss Hillcrist. Mr. Pearson kindly acted as a very useful go-between between Mr. Brooks and myself. The moment he knew that his old partner was in trouble, he was only too anxious to help. Now, here's the whole case in a nutshell, Miss Hillcrist. I knew the moment the money arrived, they would start forcing your father to write you your final instructions. And that was we wanted to catch them, red-handed. And we've done it.
I don't know what you must think of me. Not trusting you, I mean.
I did it to keep Brian from suspecting that we were on their track. Am I forgiven?
What an unnecessary question.
Well, that's that. Now you've finished with the Black Abbott, Mr. Marsh, you're shortly going to meet his sister.
Yeah? Who's that?
Black Maria.